Welcome to Beyond the Mask. Today we're joined by someone who's helping shape the next generation of CRNAs. One post, one message, and one mentorship connection at a time. Tyler Anderson, the creator of CRNA Mentor, has become a guiding voice for aspiring and practicing nurse anesthetists across the country. Through his impactful social media presence and dedication to mentorship, he's built a powerful platform that educates, empowers, and inspires. In this episode, we talk with Tyler about what motivated him to start CRNA Mentor, how social media is transforming professional support networks, and the unique responsibility that comes with being a digital voice in healthcare.
CRNA Financial Planning is a sponsor of Beyond the Mask podcast. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group. Nothing in this podcast should be construed as investment advice. Plus, did you know listening to our podcast can earn you Class B credits? For details on how to submit, visit the CE credit section at beyondthemaskpodcast.com. Welcome to Beyond the Mask, innovation and opportunities for CRNAs and advanced practice nurses, with certified financial planner Jeremy Stanley and CRNA Sharon Pierce. Jeremy Stanley has worked with CRNAs for more than 23 years, and Sharon Pierce is a former president of the AANA and the NCANA. Join us as we leave the operating room and learn the latest in the CRNA and advanced practice nurse industries. Beyond the Mask starts in 10, 9, 8, 7.
Welcome today. We're here in Washington, D.C. at Mid-Year Assembly.
Best meeting of the year.
Yes, it is. And I have my trusty part-time co-host, Tracy Castleman.
Favorite co-host.
Absolutely.
Part-time.
Because Jeremy just got back from Iceland and could not make it up here with me.
He leads a rough life, doesn't he?
Don't you want to be him when you grow up?
All right, Tyler, we're thrilled to have you here. I am thrilled to have you here because this is kind of my jam. I think mentoring truly is the future. It's how the future learns from the past and they can take the pearls forward. So thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What is a CRNA mentor? What propelled you to do this?
Sure. So first off, Tracy and Sharon, thank you so much for having me here today. This is my first time at the Mid-Year Assembly, and it is truly electric. Like, I can't get over my experience thus far and connecting with people that are part of this mentorship. But CRNA Mentor, it came about, and actually, I actually tried to do this back in 2015. Now, I was still in school at the time, and I had worked so hard to get into CRNA school, and you know, I put school on such a pedestal where I wanted to do everything possible to build my resume to get into school. And I thought, you know, all the things and all the hard work that I put into this, I think it could help somebody else. And back then, you know, social media wasn't what it was now. And, you know, I was busy in school and it kind of fell by the wayside. And, you know, fast forward to 2023, I started CRNA Mentor with this idea to inspire, motivate, mentor, and now build a community amongst aspiring CRNAs. And it lives and breathes on social media. That's where you can get so many eyes and connect with people in the snap of a finger. And it's become something super special that, you know, it largely CRNA Mentor is really just me. I have a moderator in our group, but I pull from everyone. Everyone is adding to this within our community. And it's something that every day after work, I do free phone calls. It's a pocket of time. You know, I'm a busy guy. I have 4 kids, young kids at home, but I realize that there's pockets of time in our lives that we can take advantage of. And so every day after work, I have free phone calls that I talk to people all over the country, from high school to just getting ready to apply to CRNA school, and help them, you know, navigate their journey and the questions that they might have.
I was telling Sharon when we were leading up to this, in my hospital, I felt like the Pied Piper of anesthesia. It was always, Tracy, we have somebody who needs to be mentored. Tracy, could you talk to? Tracy, could somebody follow you? And somehow or other they'd find me, is what I felt like. So I always felt like the Pied Piper, and you're doing it on a much larger, I'm doing it the old way. You're doing it on a much larger platform. Do you have other CRNAs across the country? Do you put these students or nurses together with the CRNA?
So this CRNA Mentor has been an evolution, and it will continue to be. Last May, I started the CRNA Mentor community. Now, this is a group on Facebook, and anybody can join. I do my best to vet everyone that comes through. It's a very tedious process, but we have just over 4,600 people in that group.
4,600
people
people
in less than a year here. And the fun part about it is it's high school graduates, it's nursing students, it's nurse anesthesia residents, and we have a handful of CRNAs in the group. And I've really tried my best to bring this warm, welcoming atmosphere. And Ike Bartell, who we had talked about leading up to this, he is the moderator of the group. And we really have kind of aligned our values that everything should be constructive, everything should be warm and welcoming, and if it's not, it doesn't belong here. And it's been super fun as it has evolved. And the main teaching I have for this group is that you don't have to be a CRNA. You don't have to be a nurse anesthesia resident to offer some perspective, to offer some insight that could benefit somebody even a couple months earlier in their journey. As it evolves, it's been super fun because we've had high school guidance counselors that have joined the group.
How cool is that?
That was going to be my next question. Yeah.
Yep, I have parents that join for their kids. I was doing a Zoom call a couple months ago, and we were talking and chatting. I was home for the day, so usually it's just in my car on my phone. But I jumped on Zoom, and I was talking to this young guy, and I see somebody in the back of the frame. She kind of walks in the room, and she comes up next to the computer. She starts waving to, "Hi, Mr. Tyler. I follow all your TikToks. I share them with my son." And it's like, this is so special. It's like a family thing. It's continuing to grow. I think, moving forward, the more CRNAs that can add perspective, I'm the first to say that my insight is not by any means the, be all end all that, I tell them to, listen to your program directors, attend your information sessions. But the more perspectives that we can get in the community, then the more we can help shape these lives.
So, Tyler, let's back up a little bit. Where are you from?
Scranton, Pennsylvania, just north of Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's funny, in talking with everybody at mid-year assembly today, pretty much the only thing that we've got is The Office. If you've ever seen the show The Office, either that or we're, 2 hours outside of Philly or New York, but everybody seems to get The Office. I was talking to Tracy Young yesterday, and his wife's like, "Oh, that's my ringtone for you," is is The Office. And so it's a nice little area. Like I said, I have 4 kids and my wife. We live up there, and it's a nice little small town.
And you graduated in 2015?
2016 from the University of Scranton. Yep.
Okay. So I went out as president in 2015. So you must have been a junior student.
Correct.
At that particular time. Talk to me about this Facebook group. I've got to look it up. And it's called the
I'm going to be signing up for that.
I know you will.
It's called the CRNA Mentor community.
Okay.
And like I said, we have a handful of CRNAs in the group. Ike Bartell, like I said, he's the moderator. He just got into school. He's just starting school.
Yeah, we interviewed
this
him.
month. Yeah, it's just a group from anybody from high school to CRNAs and like I said, guidance counselors and parents, and it's been super fun.
Have you thought about tapping a CRNA in each state to be a state rep kind of in this community, and or talking about the guidance counselors, getting an opportunity to step into schools?
Like a career fair type
Career
thing.
fair, thank you. Because so many people, although I do feel compared to when Sharon and I first started, people know a lot more what a nurse anesthetist is. The word has gotten out. It's certainly gotten out in nursing a little bit more.
Yes, it has.
But how to spread the word, how to make a bigger presence.
Certainly, and I think I have big dreams and aspirations in terms of what this could be. Locally, I go to the local colleges, Misericordia, the school that I graduated from, King's, Wilkes, some of those local schools. But I think that's a great idea. To expand this, to bring everybody together, and like I said, social media and just the internet. You can just connect so easily and so quickly. Not to get ahead of myself here, but one of the things that I do with this is try and get people interested. I've had so many people that saw some of my TikTok videos and they're like, "I didn't even know what a CRNA is, but now I'm interested in it." And one of the things that I've done, which I plan to send out to the schools, is this dream list that I made, and it's a video that I did that was like professionally edited. That
it was good. I did look at it.
Thank
Tyler.
you. I was gonna quiz you.
Yeah. It is very
Well, I
good.
haven't seen it. I can't wait.
No.
But it took me a good seven months or so to script it, shoot it, have it sent out to
Not
edit.
to mention finance it.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, sure. But
No, but that's
it's
no,
part of
but
it.
that's
Yeah.
part of
it's
it.
part of it,
I
and
get
it
it.
goes to your dedication to this, right? You're investing not just your hours, you're investing your dollars, your passion. To me, that continues to validate what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but it's been fun, and I think the more people I can get to interested in this, because the video itself is is what makes up a dream list. Why is being a CRNA a dream job?
It is very good, Tracy.
And it hits
I
on
can't wait to
it hits
see it.
on 5 different points that I encourage people to change out. If these points don't resonate with you, then find something that does. But use this list to compare it to other jobs in healthcare or other jobs altogether.
Because it truly is, you need to have a passion for this,
Oh, yeah.
for what we do, and you have to want it.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy journey; it's a worthwhile journey, but you do have to want it. I do see the residents now who come through, and some of them it's a lifelong journey. Some kind of stumbled upon it in the internet and said, "This looks good. I can lead a good life." But mentorship as a whole can really change the direction for somebody. I think it can change the way they go on their path.
Absolutely. It's something that when I set out to do this, and like I said, it's evolving. It's a work in progress. But I do TikTok videos in my car. I was talking to Dan. He's from Illinois. I can't remember his last name on the board here at the ANA, and he's like, "Oh,
King.
Yeah. I was talking to him. He's like, "Oh, I seen you in your car. I feel like I'm driving around with you."
I just followed you on TikTok while we were.
I said, Dan, I have 4 young kids. The decibel level is not safe to shoot any filming at home when the kids are home.
How old are your kids?
I have twins that are 8. I have a daughter that's 6, and then a daughter that's 3. So
You're surrounded by women.
I have 2 boys. I have 2 boys.
Wait,
So.
you called them twins.
Yeah.
You didn't
The
give
twins,
us a
yeah.
gender.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But so we have a very busy household. God bless my wife for letting me come down here to mid-year assembly and share this experience with everyone. But
Start dragging your kids with you
Yeah.
when they
We
get
should.
older. Our
We
kids,
did.
Yeah.
Our kids have known each other for 27, 30 years or something, and they grew up together.
My youngest, I spent the night at his house, and he was driving me in today at his apartment in Alexandria. And he said, he knew Sharon wasn't quite in the building yet. And he said, tell Jackie to come in, Jackie Rolls. Tell her to be in the lobby so I can come in and say hi. And that's part of the experience. They know what you're doing, too. Your kids know what you're doing.
Yep.
And they buy into it, too.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
my son used to come to mid-year assembly. Remember, from the time he was 8 years old, he came up here with me every single year. And if I had to do something, Tracy's looking out after him, or Carol or Jackie or somebody's looking out after
Or
him.
with all the kids,
all of them.
Jackie's girls, my kids, my boys, and
Yeah.
they would go to a ball game.
Yeah.
The guys would take them off
Nice.
to a ball game. The exhibitors knew my younger son by name. They'd ask me, "Where's Drew? Is he here?"
So bring your kids.
That's going to be my buy to get my wife to buy into
Sure, yeah.
Nashville,
Yeah.
the annual Congress. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to limit them on room service. Remember that time I came back and it's piled high outside the room, so we had to limit them.
Drew would come back from the exhibit hall with a bag
Yes,
of things, full of things. That's why they all knew his name. And we'd go out to dinner and come back, and Drew'd be asleep. He'd have the NBCRNA mask on his head. He'd have his items on the side. He still says when I go, he's 29. He's like, "You bring me back some? You going to send me some pens? I'll have to get him some things from the exhibit hall since he's getting me again tomorrow."
But
Anyway,
not
we
to digress, but bring your kids.
Because you know what? Then they become mentors too. Because then they're going to tell people where they went and what they did. And some parent may say, "What is that?" Especially when your child can say anesthetist better
Sure.
than most adults.
My young kids, I've worked
Yeah.
on. They got it pretty good. Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Well, I just went in and signed up for your
All right.
Facebook group.
All right.
So
maybe I'll let you in.
will
here.
you
Yeah.
approve me?
Yes.
So, what are your long-term goals with this group? I know you say it's a work in progress, but you've probably got some ideas of where you want this to go.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, one of the things that I preach, and this kind of stems from precepting. I precept for 2 different nurse anesthesia programs, the nurse anesthesia residents, and I've really seen the individuals that come to clinical with adequate and significant experience really tend to excel. And that's something that I'm really big on advocating for more experience in the ICU. I really harp on my mentees that the ICU is the foundation of this experience, is that everything
absolutely.
stems from this. And the more that you can, approach each step, even nursing school. How can I be the best nursing student? How can I excel in clinicals? How can I, learn how to take tests, excel academically? In the ICU, how can I become the best clinician possible? How can I be like those veteran ICU nurses that reflexively respond to codes? I talk a lot about these kind of ideas and these goals because so many people that I talk to and they find out about this profession, they say, I want to achieve this as fast as I possibly can. And I say, you're missing the point. And they're like, well, I'm just going to try to apply it to CRNA school with 1 year experience. And I said, you can, but what happens if you get into school? Then suddenly you may be the one in your class that has the least amount of experience. And are you setting yourself up for success? It's something that, you can approach it that way. And I think that's fine. But from my experience, trying to add the most to this profession, I mean, that, in my opinion, is what separates us from AAs, is the experience.
Not just the AAs, the anesthesiology residents,
100%.
the anesthesiologists.
100%.
They come in with no experience, no critical thinking skills, no patient care skills. They haven't had to run a code. They haven't had to assess a patient who's not declaring very well. They haven't had to do any of that. And we can do all that secondhand while applying the science of anesthesia.
Absolutely.
Are you a resident or CRNA looking to transition into independent practice? The AANA and Beyond the Mask are here to help you thrive as your own boss. Introducing the 1099 CRNA Institute, taught by Beyond the Mask host Jeremy Stanley and Sharon Pierce. This comprehensive educational series provides detailed guidance on business structure, legal and tax implications, and financial management tailored specifically for 1099 CRNAs. Enroll now and earn valuable continuing education credits as you chart a new course in your rewarding career. Visit aana.com/1099 to learn more and take the first step toward your new future. Remember, that's aana.com/1099 or click the link in the description of today's show. The 1099 CRNA Institute. Thrive as your own boss.
You were at mid-year. We've already told you guys that. And you did a presentation here. Unfortunately, Tracy and I just came in this morning.
I know. Maybe next year.
Yeah,
Maybe next
well,
year.
tell us about your presentation.
So this is something that, I was laying in bed last night after a busy day, and I was just reflecting on how grateful I was for this experience. This is something that it was an RN APRN meet and greet that it didn't exist 2 months ago. This is something that I'm a social media ambassador with the ANA. This is a new thing that, we're the first kind of group of that. Yep. And thanks to Mike McKinnon and the other individuals that are involved with kind of putting this together. But I talked to Brianna, who is one of my point people with the ANA's ambassador program. And I said, Brianna, I talk to these nurses and aspiring CRNAs every day after work. And so many of them had said, like, Tyler, I understand, because I've been, ever since the membership, the RN APRN membership for our association came out, I've been like, listen, this is an excellent opportunity. It's a great resume builder. It's a great opportunity to pull back the curtain on anesthesia and learn about it. And so many of them were excited about it. But then the other half was kind of like, Tyler, I get you want me to sign up for this membership and go to these conferences, but I'm going to feel like a fish out of water as an RN at an anesthesia conference. And, hearing that time and time again, I'm like, I talked to Brianne, I'm like, so many people, feel uncomfortable attending this and it's way out of their comfort zone. Can I put together something where it's even just talking to them, even just getting them in a room and having people that are on a same path, like a similar path, be together? This kicked off yesterday in the morning, and I really wasn't sure what to expect with attendance. I had an idea of the people from my CRNA Mentor community that were coming, but the place was packed. Like there weren't enough chairs. It was incredible.
These were all RNs to APNs?
It was a mix. So there were some nurse anesthesia residents that were there. There were some program faculty from different programs that were there. I had asked Richard Wilson. I had asked him to come and give a little spiel about what he has done and what these individuals can get involved with throughout this journey. I asked Debbie Manzola as well to come and offer what she could offer about getting involved. And it was incredible. I brought a bunch of supplies. I brought some intubating mannequins, so they got some hands-on experience. But it was something that it felt so special. And like I said, 2 months ago, it didn't even exist.
It's exciting when you see something like this realized, right? And when you get the feedback.
It really was. And afterwards, in my group, I feel bad that not everybody got to take advantage of this, but we got a whole group of the RNs and we went out to lunch afterwards.
Nice.
So it was so much fun.
So can I offer another piece the next time you do it?
Sure.
Get yourself a bunch of RNAs and put them up on the dais or put them around the room and give them 20 minutes, a half an hour Q&A.
Yep.
Let them ask the hard questions.
Absolutely.
I do that when somebody wants to come shadow with me. I go have them spend a few, like an hour and a half, 2 hours with one of our RNAs and just ask them the things that they might not be comfortable asking me, or what it's like I graduated from school many years ago. It's different now than it was then. And or see if you can get the RNAs to mentor.
Sure, absolutely.
Bring it down a level, have them mentor an RN who's there, who's thinking about it, spend the day at a meeting with the nursing anesthesia resident, and then they'll share that pearl with them.
Yep, absolutely. And that was Brandon, I can't remember his last name. He is associated
It just gets worse.
Oh, right. He is a senior at Scranton's program, and he's very active in the GRC with PANA. And I had asked him to come down and be, with Dr. Wilson and Dr. Manzola to kind of give his perspective, because I know, can people relate to me? Yes. Can they relate to those individuals? Yes. But seeing somebody like Brandon, seeing those nursing anesthesia residents and being like, that's who I want to be like.
You're the door opener. That's all. You have created, you're the gatekeeper. Go back to, what was that from? Alien or no, Ghostbusters, the gatekeeper. You're just opening the door and saying, welcome. And I've created this experience for you. And sometimes that's all you have to do. Isn't it amazing how in this community of providers, professionals, when you put a good idea like that out there, how many people respond and say they'd like to be a part of it?
It's fun. It really is. And again, going back to like the community and stuff and trying to be as altruistic as possible, be so helpful. And I think it's infectious. Like the people that are in that group, and I heard it yesterday, like I've never felt this supported before. And like, that's special, it is.
And they can see who they want to be like one day, maybe. We all have stories like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we all have stories like that.
Mine was Linda Williams. She was AANA president 98 to 99, and I was kind of a neophyte CRNA. I'd been out, 6 or so years. And I can remember looking at her thinking, I want to be like her one day. So you are putting people in front of them that they may want to be like one day. I love that.
And what's cool is when you see it years later.
Years later. Mm-hmm.
So back in 98, we started the mentoring program here because Linda Williams charged the PR committee with the decreasing membership. It actually was improper data at the time, but it started a process. And the older people on the committee looked at myself and Beth Ann Clayton and said, "Why are you here? Why are you young women here and not home having babies?"
Oh, geez.
Can't say that anymore.
That's what Scott McLaughlin said. And we looked at each other, and we were on a committee as student reps, and people made us feel welcome, and so we came back. It seemed natural. So what you're doing is you're creating, like you said, I feel supported. This seems natural. Why wouldn't I want to join this group? And that's how the mentoring program began. They're like, well, how do we do that for more students? And, just open the door. And somebody who's willing to come to this type of meeting as an RN, they've already stepped into a leadership role, right? They're 100%. Already establishing themselves as that top 1% cream of the crop. And all you're doing is laying out the pathway for them.
100%. And as I
what
talk,
a great idea.
Thank you. As I talk, about the evolution of CRNA Mentor, even when I was writing my presentation, I was mulling over the details for a couple days, and I was sitting in my office, and something finally clicked. I ran out and said to my wife, Sue, CRNA Mentor is not just about inspiring, motivating, mentoring these individuals. It's about planting a seed. Mm-hmm. The individuals that came to this conference, like what's beyond being a CRNA. Look at all these different things that you can get involved with: leadership, advocacy, that kind of light bulb moment. And then I'm looking out at the group. I'm like, this is so much fun.
Nice. So talk to us about the social media ambassador program.
Like I said, it's a brand new thing. We are in various, different social media avenues. I do a lot of mostly TikTok just because it's super easy, convenient, Facebook, Instagram, but we have people that are on LinkedIn. We have people that are on, Instagram, all these different platforms. And it's really just to spread the word about nurse anesthesia, have more of a presence online. And there's, Dr. Wilson, he's part of it. We have maybe 3 or 4 people. Actually, we're meeting in an hour or two here to get a picture all together. And I think even at annual Congress, there's plans for more of attendance and even maybe having a little table where people can come around. But in talking with like the RNs that are here, it's like these are the celebrities that they're pointing out. They're like, oh, this is so and so from Instagram. This is so. I'm like, it's funny. And even afterwards, like people were getting pictures with me after the presentation, and I was like laughing with my wife. I'm like people, they're seeing you on oftentimes a daily basis, and then they see you in person, and it's really neat. It's really neat. But yeah, the social media ambassador program, it was an excellent idea, and it was needed. It was certainly necessary.
If you'd like to hear Sharon speak live, now's your chance. She'll be presenting at the 53rd Annual Refresher Course for Nurse Anesthetists, hosted by the Frank Moya Continuing Education Programs. Join her this fall with other experts November 14th through the 16th at the Hilton Hotel in Walt Disney World Village, Florida. It's a weekend of learning, networking, and a little bit of magic. Check out the link in the show notes for more info and registration details.
The mentoring program that I started here grew in a way that I didn't anticipate. And sometimes it would just be me kind of, oh, this sounds interesting. Let's see if we can do it. What are your short-term goals for it?
Short term, I think just starting to develop more of the outreach, whether that be high schools, whether that be colleges. I would love to, any faculty or program directors, there's so many people that are asking questions that they can't find on their websites. I'm always directing people to their information sessions. I truly feel that is the best way to learn about these programs. But even to feature some of these schools in, within our community so people can learn about them. We had it was probably about 6 months, maybe a year ago at this point, and it might have been Texas Wesleyan's program. And somebody said, hey, does anybody have any insight on this program? I have, some more questions about it. And somebody's like, oh, my best friend is going to that program, DM me. Somebody else was like, I just got accepted to that program, DM me. Somebody else is like, I just got accepted too.
Creating the connection.
And it's that networking that is just, a snap of a finger, and it's there. And again, a lot of what Ike and I do is this should not be construed as trying to get like the cheat or the.
That's what I was just going to say. What is not the goal of this?
We explicitly state that this is not for question sharing. That is not what this is about. And if we find out about it, you're going to be out of the group. This is about building a community, making connections. And I think as we get more faculty that may be interested in even giving a little plug for their program, I think that will certainly be helpful, especially because it's hard to navigate for these certain individuals to find information about the schools, because there's certainly websites that are very well developed. They have social media pages. They have lots of engagement. Other ones, they call the school and then they get some answer, but it's not from somebody with the anesthesia faculty. It might be somebody with admissions. And so there's lots of questions that I think, I'm 100% willing to help out if any way possible. But, as we evolve here, we'll see where we're headed.
Well, that begs the question, how can CRNA programs or faculty get involved with CRNA Mentor?
I do a lot of Facebook Lives. It's fun. I did one with Ike somewhat recently. They could reach out to me. They could email me, tyler@crnamentor.com, and we could certainly set something up. And I've been doing Facebook Lives for a little bit now. I'm trying to add different perspective, especially hit on some of the pain points that people are experiencing, trying to get into CRNA school to see if CRNA school is right for them. One of the first ones that I did was with a young lady who's she should be graduating here pretty soon, and she's actually going to be one of my coworkers. But she, in her words, is an older CRNA. She has 4 kids that are like the same age as mine.
It's a different conversation.
It certainly is.
It's a very different conversation.
It was a very fun live because there's so many women that are like, this is me. Like, I didn't think that this was in the cards for me because I have kids, That aspect of it's certainly fun. I did a Facebook Live a little while ago with a young man named Milo, and Milo was a nurse anesthetist in Sweden. He immigrated to the United States, worked in New York for a bit, and then finally got accepted to CRNA school. And with my daily phone calls, I talk to a lot of people all over the country, but I also talk to a lot of international people that are want to be nurse anesthetists as well. And this is something that I really don't have really much any insight into. I've picked up some things up along the way, but I've started to...
You know what we're thinking? Do you
Exactly.
know our friend Jackie Rolls?
I do not.
She's the president of IFNA.
International Federation of Nurse Anesthetists.
She
We're gonna
sounds like
say
a
it
good
together.
person to talk to.
Yeah, you need to get together.
Y'all keep talking. I'll text her.
Yeah.
Okay. But helping these individuals, and it formed like an international focus group of people from various different backgrounds, so they can kind of connect. And I know there's different a Cameroonian association, I believe there's a Filipino association. These different groups that have them come in. We can talk, do a live with them. But I think the more kind of connections that we can make. I was talking to he was a year ahead of me in class. Io, he's from Nigeria, and he was, I'll connect you with, my contacts through, the Nigerian organization. So any way we can help. And that's really what this is about, is just making these connections and making this network.
We've talked about social media a little bit. What's the bad and the ugly that you've been exposed to at this particular juncture?
The bad and the ugly, you would not believe, and I don't.
No, I think I would believe.
Yeah, we would.
Okay,
We would.
yeah, that's better.
Listen, I've been president of this organization, and a lot of times I'd be reading something. I'm like, this person sounds awful. And then it goes, that's Sharon Pierce. And I'm like, oh my God, they're talking about me.
Sure. And the dialogue within the group, we're always keeping a close eye on that, especially, like I said, to if people are violating some of the stuff, then they're going to get booted. But a lot of people trying to get into the group. And this is kind of like a PSA for all of our CRNAs out there. There are individuals that are scammers that are making profiles identical to theirs with their families, with all of their information. And I don't know if they're trying to scrape data from like the group or what, but those individuals are constantly trying to get in.
Really?
Into
Yeah.
your...
Yes.
So if they get in,
I mean, they can't access it, but they could see like other
fake
people
it.
in the group, I guess. I don't know. But I have and oftentimes people will question. I've actually had some CRNAs like, why do you need my email? Why do you need, you have to fill out a couple things to get in. It's because the scammers will make up fake emails or they'll make up a brand new account, and the new accounts I'll reach out to. It's a lot of work to try and
I bet. I didn't even think
keep
of that.
this group in kosher as much as I possibly can. But that's kind of a thorn in the side of social media and the internet. But yeah, then the daily stuff of trying to moderate it.
Are you planning on running more frequently? Like, are you hoping to, at each meeting, let's say the annual meeting, mid-year assembly, running something like this? Are you going to talk to the AANA and see if you cannot get some kind of formal program put together?
I would absolutely love it. Like I said, when I was laying in my bed last night after that presentation, and I talked to my wife on the phone, I'm like, today was like beyond my wildest dreams of what I thought that this could be. And it was funny, when I was cleaning up, I was putting all the intubating mannequins away, and I had brought in, I'm in charge of all the anesthesia techs in my health system. So I have them save all the outdated stuff. So I had on the tabletops, all, ET tubes, all that stuff. I'm cleaning everything up. And somebody who was helping, she's like, we have to give you more time next year. She's like, these people would have stayed here forever. I'm like, that's so awesome.
You need to get their backing and help. I was the one-woman show who carried the water for about 8 or 9 years
Yes,
for the
you
mentoring
did.
program. Making the phone calls, calling. I was getting support from one of the book companies. Lippincott would give us gift certificates. I was getting people to come in and speak. I was the one-woman show. And the PR committee took it over and said, this is something that's good for the association. And so they actually put some dollars behind it and some manpower, which freed me up to do some other things. So I think there's good value in doing this every year, at least twice a year at 2 of the big meetings, and
at
welcoming
Congress.
people. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Well, I said the annual meeting, the Congress.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one thing that you'll find within our organization is that we're all pretty connected. So I texted my good friend Jackie Rolls.
Hi.
And Jackie is the president of the International Federation of Nurse
Perfect.
Anesthetists. So we will
And like
link you guys.
magic, she's here.
Isn't that something?
Poof.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi. My name's Tyler Anderson. I started a mentorship program called CRNA Mentor. It lives on social media. We have a Facebook group, which is probably, I want to say, the biggest highlight of this. And people from anywhere from high school to nurse anesthesia residents to a handful of CRNAs that are in the group. And it's people from all over this country that are joining, that are trying to gain insight on, how to navigate this journey to get into CRNA school and beyond. One of the things that, I do free phone calls every day after work. It fits in a pocket of time where I'm driving, and help people navigate this. And I have a number of international individuals that are interested in navigating this journey. What do they do? And I do not have a lot of insight into that. So within my Facebook group, I formed an international focus group of people who come from diverse backgrounds to share their experiences and help field some of these questions. And as I was telling Sharon, I said, yeah, I'm trying to navigate this, but I need kind of more resources. And she mentioned you. And you're here.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Well, he says he gets a lot of international calls.
And it's the building blocks. It's mentoring the building blocks to come into anesthesia program, as opposed to the mentoring program here, which is the building block for the students to go on in their career and joining the association. But I thought it was really interesting that he had all these international people who want to come here. And he wants to build a little cohort for them and didn't know how to go about doing it.
Yes. So I will tell you, with IFNA experience, I also get a lot of inquiries, but not just from people that want to become a nurse anesthetist, from nurse anesthetists from other countries that want to practice in the United States, which is very, very difficult. We have a one-page sheet on the IFNA website for them to say this is what you need to do to be a nurse anesthetist in the United States. And if you haven't gone through a U.S. program, it's virtually impossible, because you have to graduate from a COA accredited program to sit for the CRNA credential. However, if they are nurses that are coming from anywhere really, and they can have their nursing program validated with our equivalency, and there's an organization here that does that. So looks at their nursing background and their education, and if it's validated that is an equivalent education, then they can sit for their RN license here. You might already know that.
I've heard
yeah,
this.
and then they can get experience in ICU and apply to a program. But they have to meet those same credentials to come in as any other RN in the United States.
Right. Yeah, that's great insight. Yeah. In terms of helping individuals navigate it, what kind of resources do we provide here? Is it kind of more just that insight in terms of
It's more
how
of the insight and how-tos, because IFNA is a organization made up of about 47 member countries, and everyone is a nurse anesthetist, and it's a nurse anesthetist association that joins. So we don't really have anything to help someone become an RN first. And that's what I'm kind of hearing. Internationally, they're going to have to become an RN here in the United States, or have that equivalent training to come in and then get ICU experience. And we have a friend of mine's daughter from Korea. You guys might have met her. You know Gaeson Jong.
Yes.
Well, her daughter.
Right.
Her daughter's here.
Yeah, that's right.
And in Korea, they do meet the equivalent RN education. And so she is now in LA working in ICU, but her goal is to become a nurse anesthetist.
That's great.
So it's more about what's their background, how well it fits here, and then what we can do for them to meet the criteria to enter a program, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No.
Well, that's what Milo, was that his name?
Yeah. Yep.
That sounds like what he did. Came here.
Exactly. That's
worked
exactly
in New
what
York
he did.
City in the ICU, and now he's in a nurse anesthesia program. But he was a nurse anesthetist from
Sweden.
And Sweden has a very good practice, very high level practice, very good education. They're very well thought of on the international level in terms of their skills.
I wonder why we haven't thought about creating the, people who go offshore, go to Poland or go to England or go to Ireland or go down to the Caribbean to get their medical license, and they have to do their steps.
Oh, wow.
Why we don't have the same thing?
But that is true. One of my favorite GYNs I work with was trained in Guatemala or something. But that's interesting. Tyler has an international presence. He's a social media ambassador, and that's where all this started and why I texted you, because he gets a lot of calls internationally, and he didn't know quite all the answers.
Basically.
Are you coming to Australia with us next year for the International Federation of Nurse Anesthetists meeting?
That would
May.
be fun.
Yes, you
May.
should.
Let me ask my wife.
May 7th
Make it a
and 9th.
family vacation. How often do you get to go down under?
But that's the reason why we wanted you guys to hook up, because he needed a resource.
Yeah, that's great. Can I ask you a question? So is it a diverse area you're getting inquiries, or are there certain regions or continents?
Really all over. It's really all over. I enjoy those conversations. It's especially, for example, a young lady I was talking to maybe a year ago, and she had came here from China, and she had said that, when she was in China, because of who her family was, she wasn't allowed to go to college. And this was so hard for her. And she saw her friends who were able to go to college. And she, then eventually, immigrated here. And she's like, I was, ended up working at a Dollar General, and this was a great opportunity for me because then I could learn English. I could practice English. Like the things that these individuals had to overcome to get to the same spot. It's just so motivating. And I look at them and they're like, well, should I bring this up? I'm like, 100% in your interviews, bring this up, because all this adversity you had to overcome just to get to this spot. It's special, really is.
It's great for an interview because we're always looking for people with grit. That's one of the big things for all of us, for our nurse anesthesia students: resilience, grit.
I had a resident from Russia, and she learned the language here, moved with her family, learned the language watching I Love Lucy.
Yana.
No, not Yana.
Oh, well, that's how Yana learned English,
and
too.
And TV and I Love Lucy, and then she became a nurse and, did her ICU, got herself into a nurse anesthesia program. And of course, on the first day of school, her mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
Oh, my Lord.
Stayed in school, took care of her mother for 8 months while she went through the last stages of ovarian cancer, and still graduated.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. Again, grit. She was in her late 30s by the time she was done. And then when she was trying to get into someplace in Texas, I said, you want to work at MD Anderson? Let me give a friend of mine a phone call. She goes, that's my dream job. But like you said, grit. This is somebody who had to overcome every barrier, every obstacle. And she was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I think we've shown the interconnectivity.
It's amazing.
Of the CRNA community while you're here. Jackie just appeared.
I just walked in the door when I got your text.
Yes, you did.
Pretty much. Said her name and she appeared.
We had lunch with the student I'm mentoring. And so I just walked in the door. I was like, oh, Sharon's texting me.
Let me go on down and put a headset on and talk on a podcast.
But if I can help you in any way,
thank you.
Please, I'll give you my information when we're in contact, and just reach out. And if I don't, then usually I know somebody in another country too that might be able to help us with something.
Perfect.
That's a lot for you.
It is. It's fun, and again, I offer that I'm navigating this as well. So if I can help in any way, and that's really, I think what I'm trying to drive home here is like help as many people as I possibly can, and what that looks like. And as this continues to evolve, we'll see where we end up. But it's been a lot of fun.
It's very rewarding. It's satisfying, especially when you turn around a few years later and you see them flying on their own, going, following their passion.
One of the special things about this, and like I said, I do TikTok videos, I have a Facebook community, and one of the coolest things that happens from time to time, like I help people, if people ask for mock interviews and stuff like that, I'll help, prepare in that regard. So we're working closely together. But every once in a while, I'll get an email or a message on TikTok and say, you've been so integral in my journey becoming a CRNA. I just got into school. I've never talked to this person before. And that's like, it just so shows the connectivity of social media, of everything. And it's like those messages are special,
You've touched the future.
Ooh, that's a great
It
line,
is. You've
Tracy.
touched the future.
I love that.
Thank you.
So as we kind of wrap this up, is there any message you would like to leave with our listeners?
Sure. So for all of our CRNA, my CRNA colleagues, we have a huge ability to make an impact and to mentor these aspiring CRNAs. We have so many that are here today at the mid-year assembly, and we have so many more that are now learning about being a CRNA and this profession. And a theme that has been consistent throughout the mid-year, as it's just even getting started here, is that this is no longer the best kept secret, that so many people are interested in this path, so many people are interested in shadowing opportunities. And the more that we can help these individuals, the stronger that we are going to become as an association and as nurse anesthetist. And any CRNAs that want to join my group, I'm sure we could link it below.
We will. You send me anything you want to, and I will make it happen.
Sounds good. That's the CRNA Mentor community. And then to all of my aspiring nurse anesthetists, just keep working through your journey. And this is most certainly a journey. That's one of the reasons that I realized it was needed, because there's so many different parts of this, gaining your ICU experience. A lot of what I do in helping these individuals is trying to reverse engineer where I'm at now to what could have helped along this journey.
Good point.
And I think that the more that we can help these individuals, again, my CRNA Mentor community, if you're interested in becoming a part of it, we are all here to help you.
Tyler, thank you for coming down and joining us.
Thank you very
I
much.
enjoyed meeting you and everything you're doing. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Everything you're doing for the community. Thank you, Jackie, for stepping in.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. Nice to meet you.
And, of course, to my trusty co-host, Tracy Castleman. Thank you for stepping in.
Thank you, as always, for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Always fun.
Made her drive all the way here from New Jersey.
Yeah, I was coming anyway. My favorite meeting, you know that.
Absolutely. It sure is. Well, I think it's a wrap.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Mask. If you enjoy the show and want to help us grow, the best way to support us is simple. Leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, share the show on social media, and tell your friends. Your word of mouth is what keeps us going strong. We're proud to consistently rank in the top 50 medical podcasts nationwide and to be #1 in the CRNA community. All thanks to listeners like you. Your support helps us stay there, and we couldn't do it without you. We'll see you on the next Beyond the Mask.
This is Jackie Rolls, President of the International Federation of Nurse Anesthetists. I'm inviting you to attend the 15th World Congress for Nurse Anesthetists, May 7th through 9th, 2026 in Brisbane, Australia. I promise you that you will love meeting nurse anesthetists from around the world, attending the multitude of Congress sessions, and exploring the many unique experiences that Brisbane has to offer. Hold a koala bear, feed kangaroos directly from your hand, climb Story Bridge, one of the only 3 climbing bridges in the world, or travel to snorkel the Great Barrier Reef. This is one Congress you do not want to miss. Cheers!